We're all in business for a reason. The problem that so many small business owners have is that they go in 10 million different directions, not really sure which way to go. Listen as your team of experts, Jennifer Glass, Daniel McCrane, and Patricia Rezzatillo, go through what you need in your business to really make it stand out and benefit you. Because it's the bottom line that matters.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It's the Bottom Line That Matters podcast, where we are dedicated to your success. If this is your first time checking us out, thank you so much for checking us out. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for continuing to check us out. One thing I will say is we are continuing our conversation on using social media to drive leads. Last time we spoke about using Insta to drive business for you. Today, we are talking about LinkedIn. One thing that I can say about LinkedIn is that it has significantly changed from what worked 3 years ago to what works today. 3 years ago, there was a lot more out there that you were able to do and get away with. Today, it is completely different. If you're still using the same ideas that you were doing in 2023, you're not getting to go far at all. Heck, I will even go farther to say if you're still using what you did in mid 2025, you're probably not going to be getting the kinds of results that you're seeking. So, Patricia, before we kind of jump into it, let me ask you, because you're on LinkedIn also, you're not necessarily using it in the same way that some of our listeners may be using to generate leads at the moment. But I want to ask you, when it comes to LinkedIn, what makes you take note of things on LinkedIn that may not be just, all right, whatever it is, what it is. And I will just keep in mind, by the way, everyone, LinkedIn is probably the biggest B2B directory that is out there because people that are on there are in business. Yes, you've got a couple of students who have profiles, but they're probably interns at some sort of organization, and that's why they've got a profile. But putting that aside, it is what it is.
Yeah. So I'm not on LinkedIn as much as I probably ought to be. Uh, that said, I did run some experiments last year with surveys, and the very interesting thing was like almost the instant that I put these surveys. So I did them like one at a time, ran it a week, did the next one, that kind of thing. The interesting thing that happened was that I saw different content. I saw people who were so much more relevant to my niche. It was mind blowing. I'd never seen an algorithm do that before. I don't see that happen on like Facebook. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't see it happen. But I'm also pretty passive on Facebook, so
Okay.
yeah, it was interesting. So there's, and I've had people reach out to me to get on my podcast. Ultimately, this individual didn't keep the appointment, but that was where he saw me. He reached out.
Okay. So, one thing I am going to say about LinkedIn, as opposed to other platforms specifically, is LinkedIn company pages. And a lot of people neglect the company page. And it is amazing how many entrepreneurs I see having a company name listed in their profile without any kind of company page attached. And you kind of see that, like if it's just a generic silhouette or whatever the generic um, icon is at the moment. For companies, when you list a brand new company, if it doesn't have a logo attached, you know there's no company page. Company pages are key on LinkedIn because you can actually get people to take free trials. It's a lead gen opportunity where you can have them fill out a form to get into your universe over there. You can't in a LinkedIn personal page. Very big difference. Yes, on a premium account, you can still drive people to book on your calendar, or you can try and get them in, try it out, but it's not going to be the same way like you do on a company page. And a company page still has to be thought of in a way that is going to be driving the business forward to make it make sense for you. So think about that as we move forward. So,
Yeah.
Patricia, let me ask you on that side, have you seen people using the company pages to still drive value? And do you get requests from people to follow their company pages so that they can grow that following too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get a lot of requests to join this newsletter or that newsletter.
Newsletters are different from company
I know they're a
pages.
little different.
Yes.
Um, I do get some company page stuff, but mostly it's people saying, "Oh, join my newsletter,"
Okay.
but whatever.
And the other thing is also LinkedIn events.
LinkedIn events I have used over the years. Yeah. Um, as a user, I find them a little bit challenging. And I'm pausing here because now I don't remember if it's a Facebook event or a LinkedIn event that I have trouble with. I've had trouble with both of them. There's things that you can access on that event on your desktop that you can't on your mobile, and there's things that you need to access on them that you can only access on your mobile. And I'm sorry, I don't want to do this on my mobile.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other thing I'm going to throw out there is LinkedIn Live is much more effective than even Facebook Live when you're trying to really drive the value for what it is that you're trying to do. And we'll talk about Facebook in another episode. But
Uh-huh.
when it comes to LinkedIn, though, specific, um, any other thoughts as it relates to LinkedIn and driving value before I kind of give even more?
I'm so sorry. I got distracted.
Okay. So I'm going to jump in with a couple more and then we'll kind of go from there. So, one of the other things that you really need to have on LinkedIn, and we kind of mentioned it in Insta when we spoke about it last time in terms of having an optimized profile, or certainly having a way that people understand what it is that you're doing and the link in bio and everything. But on LinkedIn, an optimized profile is extremely important. Way too many people still treat LinkedIn as a resume. I did this, I did that, and that's what they use LinkedIn for. I'll be honest, when I first joined LinkedIn way, way, way long ago, I did the same thing because I saw that's what everyone else was doing. And so I used it as a resume site. But no, LinkedIn is a lead generation tool. It is not a resume tool. That's not to say if you're in job hunt mode, you don't create your profile in a way that works for potential employers to be finding you. But again, keep in mind the fact that Microsoft bought LinkedIn for so much money. Microsoft didn't buy it for your resume. They don't care about your resume. Everything they're doing on LinkedIn then becomes optimized for search engines. And so, what that means is if you're not putting in the value in what it is you're doing on your profile, and you're not optimizing it to what your ideal prospects are looking for. Instead, you're optimizing it for, oh, I sent out direct mailings. Congratulations. But is that going to mean that a client that needs your help with direct mail is going to reach out to you? Or is it just, I did this, so I have experience, but I'm not saying anything about it? And that's just an example, wild example, but something that is important in terms of understanding what it means with your profile. You really need to have your headline really specific, dialed into who you're helping, what you're doing, what it means to people. But also, the other thing that amazes me is so many people with that header image on your personal profile either have it blank or they have some kind of generic, oh, look, it's such a pretty skyline. What does the skyline have anything to do with your business unless you're in construction? And that happens to be your buildings that you built.
Yeah. And you should point that out if that's the case. Look at these beautiful things I helped build. I don't know, right? Uh, yeah, it's it's. I mean, if you want just pretty stuff, go over to Facebook.
Facebook,
Yes, there's plenty of business
Insta,
done on Facebook.
yes, all of those places.
Yeah.
So the other thing though that I'll also mention is I mentioned the header image. Did you know you can even have a carousel of header images on your profile? Doesn't have to be a static one image there. You can have several of them, and you can have people literally going through all of your different images with specific calls to action in there. They say real estate is location, 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 but it's also, are you using the best way for that real estate to be giving you the value? Think about it this way. If somebody comes over to your house and they're looking at it from curb appeal only, and the house is, the lawn is totally overgrown, the siding is so dirty from years of dirt and everything going against it, and the shrubbery around the house is blocking the windows and really making the house look kind of weird. Would you like that house if you were trying to sell the house? Alternatively, if it looked perfect, the lawn was immaculate, the way the house was clean, everything was beautiful about the house, what would that mean to you? The same goes for your profile and the images that you're using. And don't forget about the featured section too, right? Understand how many characters you can use in these different sections. That's another thing I'm just going to really be specific about. Your headline can have, I think it's 200 give or take characters in your headline. So many people put in director of marketing. Director of marketing, what the heck does that mean? To you, I understand director of marketing to you means something. If you say CEO of X, Y, and Z company, I understand to you it means something. But what does it mean to me as a prospect? The same goes in the about section. If the about section is, and here you have over 1,000 characters. I'm blanking right now exactly how many more you have, but you certainly have a significant amount of characters that you can be using. And again, so many people say, I have done this and I've done that and blah, 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 but they forget what this means to you. They also don't take full use of everything that you can do. And in the professional section, they also just say, I am director of marketing at company X, and a little bit of information, maybe 2, 3 lines of whatever company X or their position is, but they don't build it out. We mentioned earlier the SEO idea. Think about what that all means in terms of where you go and what you're doing. And Patricia, thank you very much for confirming it's 2,600 characters. Like I said, it was significantly more in the About section and in the Professional section. There's no limit to how many jobs you can have there, even under your own company. If it is your company especially, use multiple job postings or job listings as what you did. Break out each thing that you do. Talk about it. What does it mean to the user? Right? If all you're saying is I'm director of marketing at company X or I'm CEO at company X, really nice, right? You're CEO, and that means that you do X, Y, and Z. And you get the point? That is the importance of LinkedIn and why it really matters. And keep in mind also, like Patricia, you mentioned last time, specific targeted audiences. LinkedIn users are not going to be looking at the cat memes and everything else that's on Facebook or Insta. They're going to be paying attention to what is out there on your LinkedIn profile. They're also going to be paying attention to what kind of posts you're actually putting out there. Is it the AI generated garbage that in 2023, 2024 was able to still get through? Or are they looking at what it is today that you're really putting out there? Does it look real? Does it look like something that is really pushing the needle? And you can take contrarian stances in terms of what you're doing there, or you can look at just adding conversations. And one more thing I will say is look at the top right of your LinkedIn page on the desktop version where it says in the news. See what you can post about in the news. If there's a story there that directly relates to your industry or to your level of expertise, talk to it. Because it's amazing how that may get picked up by LinkedIn to then generate more content and more eyeballs on you. Who would not want more eyeballs for free coming to your particular page that you can be doing more?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that I kind of spoke a whole lot there, but let me ask you, Patricia, if you broke that down into a digestible format, what were your biggest takeaways?
That I need to do a whole lot more work on my LinkedIn profile. Optimize it a whole bunch more. Yes.
There
And
you
use
go.
some of the other tools that are there. Definitely.
So much amazing information you can use on LinkedIn. Think about what it is that you are doing and what that means for you as it relates directly to your LinkedIn profile. On that note, this has been another episode of It's the Bottom Line That Matters. And until next time, here is to your success. Thanks so much for listening to another amazing episode of It's the Bottom Line That Matters podcast. We're all about helping the small business community grow and reaching as many people as we can. And the algorithms on the podcast programs love reviews. So if you loved what you just heard, consider leaving us a review. And even if you don't, I'm sure you already did, but consider sharing our episodes and our podcast with your friends and colleagues. Sharing is caring, and here's to your success. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.
It's the bottom line that matters.